Hello, thank you all so much for joining us today. This is Skedulo Live, a product tour, and my name is Marie Francis. I'm the Senior Director of Product Marketing here at Skedulo, and today I'm joined with my colleague Neil Shevlin, Solution Consultant in North America. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Marie.
And we are very pleased to host this webinar for you today, where we are going to introduce Skedulo, just take a moment to introduce who we are, why we do what we do, and some of the results that our customers have seen. And most of this webinar is all about showing you our product. So as you'll discover, Skedulo works with a wide variety of industries and use cases. So we'll be showing you our core product and workflows today, not specific to any one industry. But remember that our platform is highly configurable and flexible. That's one of the big values that our customers get from us. So if you see something you like and are wondering if it can be adjusted to fit your particular needs, the answer is very likely yes. And then we'll save just a few minutes at the end to take your questions. So ready to get started?
Yes.
Let's do it. So since our founding in 2013, Skedulo has been focused on helping companies overcome the really significant challenges that come with managing their deskless and mobile workers. The deskless workforce is estimated to be 80% of all workers globally. And that really refers to people doing the jobs that don't require sitting at a desk or being at a computer for the majority of the day to do their work. And when you combine deskless work with mobility, where people are going from location to location in the course of the day to work with customers and do their jobs, the challenge of managing that work to businesses becomes deeply complex very quickly. So to answer that challenge, Skedulo delivers one system to intelligently manage all the details about your mobile workforce, whether they're full-time, part-time, contractors, even volunteers, match those resources to jobs, schedule, dispatch, and route them, and support them while they execute work on site with customers. Our product consists of a web application for your operations and scheduling teams, and a mobile application for your deskless workers. Today, more than 150 companies across a dozen industries have chosen Skedulo to connect vital business processes, really improve customer experience, and deepen employee engagement. And with Skedulo, managers gain trustworthy data they need to grow their business efficiently. With Skedulo in place, our customers have reported seeing ROI 16% faster than the average field service management solution. And those are results that are coming straight from our customers via software review site G2. Our customers are typically seeing results like a 48% reduction in scheduling time, a 28% increase in visibility and job execution, so that's knowing what's going on in real time on site with your customers, a 21% increase in resource utilization, and an 8% increase in customer satisfaction. So our 150 customers we're partnering with are across the US, Australia, and UK, and as the way people work continues to change, we're looking forward to partnering with customers in even more industries who face similar challenges managing their mobile and deskless workers. So as you can imagine, having such a broad customer base means that we work with a lot of different use cases and degrees of complexity in business processes. And that means that Skedulo has a flexible architecture by design, and we work with our customers to ensure that their nuanced needs are reflected in their configuration of our product. So as Neil demonstrates today, he's going to focus on workflows that are applicable to multiple industries and use cases. So without further ado, I am happy to turn it over to Neil to show you Skedulo.
Thank you so much, Marie. Hello, everyone on this call. You're all very welcome to the demo. It's really great to speak with you. I'm going to show you our core capabilities and how Skedulo can help you in the future. I'm really excited to be here. As you've seen in the previous slide, we have many customers, over 150 across multiple verticals, and these all have different stories. Our product is very flexible to meet the type of business you do. So for this demo, I'm going to show you two flows. For the first one, I want you to think about the administrator and scheduler experience. They come into the office every day doing their regular activities. So how can we help them to be efficient and assign jobs to mobile workers? Our product provides multiple ways to schedule available resources to a job, as well as an optimizer that can automatically suggest, and then you can manually decide if to save or fully manual the way you schedule. It's really up to you. Resources associated with the system are workers who are not located in your office, and assets that may be required for them to perform their day-to-day activities. For the second flow, I want you to think about your resources. These can be consultants, drivers, inspectors, nurses, technicians, and many other types of mobile workers. We can demonstrate how they can interact with the scheduler real time using our app. And the real-time capabilities allow sharing and just general good information. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So this is my web browser. I'm using Google Chrome for this demo. And this is the screen that your administrator and scheduler will use when looking at their jobs. I would love now to orient you to our platform, which is rich in data and capabilities. There's a lot to see the first time, so I'll explain things as we see them. We'd love to have follow-up calls with you individually and tailor the demo to your organization's needs. So on the top left of the screen, you'll see the Skedulo logo. When you click on this, it'll always bring you back to this home screen. Along the top, you'll see a blue menu bar. And the great news is that this is consistent on all screens. So I'm going to go through very briefly each option on the bar and just explain exactly what it does. The first option is schedule. And it's important to us that there are different ways for you to view your data. Everybody's different, and we all like to look at things differently. We have 4 views here. We have a swim lane view that we're currently looking at. We have vertical swim lane, we have calendar, and map view. Jobs show a list of all the jobs you currently have in this format. You can also look at recurrent schedules, and very shortly we'll show you how to create a recurrent job. Activities or items that you can put onto your schedule that are not associated with a job. Example could be training days, travel, and meal breaks. It just ensures you can add time that will block off the schedule and ensure jobs are not scheduled during these times. Resources are people and assets. So the people are the mobile workers, and the assets are anything they need to perform their duties that are associated with the job. So for the demo, we're going to show you a lot of the mobile worker information. However, just keep in mind, you can also store assets associated with job. I'm going to click on the people to give you a flavor of exactly what we store. So in here, you'll see a list of all the mobile resources we have loaded on the system. We store their name, we store the category of what type of job they do. We look at whether they're full-time or agency or casual. We also store their mobile number and if they're activated or not. You may have just say casual workers that work for the summer, and you can activate and deactivate them as you need to. And you can also notify of information around jobs automatically. I'm going to click on a user. So when you click on a user, it gives you their schedule. So it says that on Thursday here we have a job, and there's options along the top here. So if I click on details, it has all email address, home address if you travel from home to a job. It also says the notification method that the user wants to be notified. And it just gives general information. If you want to look at location here, it's very important. So there's different regions we have. So you have a primary region, which we have in San Francisco here, and a secondary region is Colorado. So it means that you don't have to just assign somebody to one area. They can work in different areas. And you can change this around. There's also a temporary region option as well. So the system is very flexible. Along the bottom here, you can add additional information such as hourly rate. There's then an option called tags. So tags is really, really cool feature. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to put the skills and attributes associated with a mobile resource. And it then ties that to a job. So for example, if a job you need to be first aid certified, it only assigns somebody who has that skill in their profile. There's then options for, as I said, temporary regions if they're moving around, and there's also exclusions and inclusions. And really this just means that if certain customers you don't want to assign to certain mobile workers, or on the flip side, if you have any customers that only want to work with a certain mobile worker, you can add this here and our engine will will look at this information when optimizing. Okay, so back up to the blue menu. We've showed you the schedule, the jobs, activities, and resources, and now we're going to move on to availability. So for availability, it is possible to see when your resources are available. What's really cool here is the ability to add a template for multiple resources. So this can be used for shift work, employee type, and it's flexible to handle your use cases regarding your schedule. In addition to this, it's also possible for your mobile worker resource to submit requests for availability and unavailability through the mobile app. And you can allow your scheduler to either approve or decline the request. So if I click on availability again, this is for everybody. If I click on availability and requests, it shows you any requests that have come in. So you see here that Neil has asked for leave on this date and needs a day off. And the really excellent thing is that it'll warn the scheduler if there's any jobs assigned to him during this time. And this is really intuitive because it's adding value and saving a lot of time having to check different things. Next, final thing on the blue menu is the manage. So this handles all other data, and examples of here is like the types of jobs, the types of employees, holidays, different regions, your accounts, and much, much more. So now I just want to focus back on the jobs. So I'm gonna click back on schedule, and I'm gonna click on swim lane. So this is one view of the jobs we've loaded in. So we've loaded in some example jobs here, and I want to just focus on the left-hand side of the screen. So as well as the top blue menu here, we now have on the screen a filter for the status of the job. So what happens is a job can be queued, it then goes to be allocated, dispatched, it's then ready, the person's en route, on site, and so on. So the scheduler can actually filter jobs and see exactly what's happening at different statuses. There's also under the blue toolbar an option to filter. So I filtered this for San Francisco, and I filtered by certain types of jobs, consultancies and inspections. And I filtered it to look at pending dispatch and pending allocation. Resource type also is person. So that's the status, and then we also have a list of jobs here, and then on the right-hand side we have the calendar with all the list of resources and what jobs are scheduled. Now we haven't scheduled any yet, which we're going to do now, so it's all blank. One of my favorite features in this screen is when you click on the three dots here, you can actually filter and only view certain days or certain times. This is really important. If you have any days that are particularly challenging, you can actually focus on that time and really look into what's happening and make sure jobs are allocated. So that's just a feature I really like. So back to the job allocation. So now we've looked at the menu on the top, the blue, we've looked at the left-hand side, the statuses and the list of jobs. So how do we allocate jobs? So there's two ways. We can either manually go in and allocate them one by one, or we can use our optimizer engine. So to do this, you select the jobs on the screen that you actually want to automatically schedule. You can either click on each job box here, or you can select all. So I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to go up to the lightning bolt to optimize. And what this will do is this will give you three options. So you can either optimize it by the travel time for people to get to and from jobs. You can work it on a balanced workload that is fair and make sure that all the resources are evenly allocated jobs. But on the flip side, you can also do it on minimum resources, which will only use the minimum amount of workers. And this may be if you have any budget constraints. So for the demo, I'm going to optimize it using travel time. So what this will do is before I do it is looks at where the mobile worker lives and how long it will take to get to the first job, and then how long it will take to get to each subsequent job. So I'm going to click on run. And what this will do is this will allocate the jobs that are set up. So it says it's put 2 jobs for Neil to go to, and it's also done 3 jobs for James, and it'll show on the map where the jobs are. There's an option here called unscheduled. So for any jobs that are not possible, whether you don't have a resource with the skill level for the job, or if there's time constraints, it'll actually give you the information here. So there's time resources here. So I'm going to go back here, and at this point it's not saved. So you can play around with the scheduling and see different sort of criteria and different results, and then you only save it when you want to. So I'm going to go close this window, and there's a button here called Save, and I'm going to click on Save, and now the jobs have been scheduled. So you may have a lot of jobs. You might schedule for a full week ahead, or you might just do it for the next day, but totally flexible to whatever you need to do. So what I would really, really love to do now is I'd love to show you how do we create a job ourselves. So I've showed you jobs I was already on the system, and I'd love now to create a job. So you'll notice on the top on the menu here, there's a plus button. So if you click on that, there's actually different options to create a job or activity or availability or unavailability. So if I click on job, and then it'll ask you for some information. So the really good news is that our system is configured excellent, that you can assign different standard and default information to job types. So I'm going to click on a job type here, and I'm going to say it's a consultation, and it pre-populates the description, the region, San Francisco, and it also pre-populates that there's no urgency and it's 1 hour duration. So the next thing it'll ask you for is your account name. So it gives you a list of all accounts. What's really cool about our system is that we integrate with multiple CRMs of your choice. So here you can pull in all your data of your accounts and your contacts and so on. So I'm going to click on household A, and there's one contact, Helen Garcia, and then the address will also select. The region is selected, and then I'm going to go into time. So if I click on time, it'll ask you for dates. So I'm going to click on Thursday to Thursday, and I'm also going to select from 1:30 to 2:30. Notice here, there's a really cool functionality if you want to make the job recurring. So I'm just going to click on that to show you how that works. And what it'll do is it'll let you select dates here, but there's also a pattern builder. So if you click on pattern builder, it'll let you select if you want to repeat it, whether it's daily, weekly, yearly, or monthly on a certain day. You can skip days. You can end it on a certain date or after a certain number of times. I hear it's 2 times. And then you can select days you want to skip. So if you have a customer who's never available on a Monday and the recurrence happens on a Monday, you can tell the system, I don't want it to happen on Monday, or weekends as it is here. There's also an option to ignore holidays and or to skip holidays and match occurrences. So this is important because if you preload your holidays, you don't want to have a job that you've no resources available. So I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to remove the recurrent job because I just want to create one job. Next thing is fields. So if you have a CRM that has job information with multiple fields, rest assured, we're not just going to leave them empty. We can integrate with your data CRM of choice, and we can also pull that data in. So the information can show here on screen, and it also can show on our mobile app. Next option is requirements. So you can say how many people are required and also what skills are required. So here you need to be first aid certified. You need training certification also. But how about if the customer contacts the scheduler or your customer service and says, oh, I only speak Spanish. What do you do then? Very simple. You just go in and you can say, can speak the language. So for this example, let's use Italian. And then you can just save the job. Finally, you can click on tasks. And we preloaded some tasks for this job type, which can be default. So it says that provide a welcome booklet to the customer, take a picture of the property, and ensure you have all the customer's additional details. However, you can add more. So if the standard is that, and this customer says, I also want you to call me 30 minutes before you arrive, you can actually put that in, or other examples. And then you can add that as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to save. And the job is then pending allocation. So I'm going to click on the job. And now I want to show you 2 ways we can allocate. There's 2 things we can do. We can either allocate a resource directly to somebody, to a mobile resource, or we can offer the job. So first thing I'm going to do is allocate the resource. I'm going to click on it. And what it'll do is the system's intelligent enough to know which mobile workers can do the job. So you'll notice that Neil is in white. The other mobile workers are in grey, which means they're not fully suitable. However, they may be able to do it. However, I want to select Neil. And up here, it'll let you sort by the travel distance from home or the best fit and so on. So there's different ways to allocate. So you can click save. And that job is now allocated to me. There's 3 ways to dispatch the job and to notify. You can call the mobile worker, you can text the mobile worker, or you can push notify the mobile worker. And this will default to their preference in their user profile. You can also attach items to the job. You can add notes and other items. So they're going to be available real time on the mobile app. So it's really cool that if a customer provides like a map to get to the premises or any sort of information, if it's a repair, they may send a picture of the item, of where it is and so on. So all that information can be put in, and then when you go on the mobile app, it's available. I'm now going to dispatch the job, and we'll now share the screen. Great, so you'll see on the right-hand side, you'll see the notification for the job. So the mobile worker receives a notification when any job is allocated. They have the functionality at their fingertips, and they can navigate around the app. So I'm going to click on close. I want you to first see up the top of the screen, you see agenda, and underneath here you see today, week and month. So if somebody wants to see what's happened today, or if it's a Monday, they might want to see what's happening for the upcoming week, or they might want to pick a month view. So if I'm going to click on week, and I'm going to click on the day that I allocated the job. And you'll see now that the job is actually on screen. Along the bottom, I also want to, before I click on the job, you have agenda, you have offers, messages, and notifications. We'll go through them shortly, but just keep in mind there's a menu on the top and bottom. So I'm going to click on the job. So where it says the job 2836, I'm going to click on it. And what it'll do is it'll give me an opportunity to either accept or decline a job. Our system is completely configurable. So if you don't want to give the mobile worker the option and you want it to accept automatically, we can configure that for you. For the demo, I'm going to click on the accept green button. And now I've accepted the job. And what you'll notice is on the left-hand side in the scheduler screen, it now says ready. So it's complete real time. So as somebody updates their mobile app, it updates the scheduler. They know what's happening. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on travel. And what our system does is the app, it'll look up what navigation apps you have on screen. So you have Apple Maps, Waze, you have Uber and Lyft. So I'm going to skip navigation because I'm going to drive myself. And then when I get to the job, I can click on the green on site. And then once I might be on site for a couple of minutes speaking to a few people, I'm going to click on begin job. And now I can start working on the consultation. If I scroll down, you see that there's the 3 tasks. So it says to provide the welcome booklet, take a picture, and ensure your all customers have additional details. So those tasks can be complete. Along the top here, on the job ID, you can add a comment in real time to the scheduler. You can add a customer signature if required. And you can also take a picture if you want to.
So we're going to take a picture?
Marie, I'm going to take a picture of you.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready? Smile.
That's so unfair. I wasn't ready for that.
So I'm going to use that photo. And then Marie is now in the cloud. So
no.
The data is gone. I can't delete. I can delete it, but it's gone.
I'm in the cloud.
So you did the job, and then you click complete job. Before we do that, we have to say we did a task. So give the booklet, took a picture of Marie, and then I click on complete job. You can enter comments, customer was happy, or any comments to help the scheduler, or any future information. And now it's been saved. And then if you look on the left-hand side, we click complete job. Now that the job is complete, I want to show you some other functionality of the mobile app. So along the bottom of the screen where it says agenda, beside there is offers. And what this allows the scheduler to do is, if there's any jobs you want to offer to multiple people, it can do it that the first person that accepts it gets the job, or there's different ways to configure it that the most suitable first person that the ones that gets it. There's different ways to do it. However, it appears on the screen. There's one that I accepted before, so that's how it shows. You can then send some real-time messaging to the scheduler. It's a really cool feature. And the notifications here will show you any new jobs that come into your app. So if you want to see everything that happens. Finally, on the mobile app, if you click on more, there's a way that you can click on availability and add either availability or unavailability. That ties into what we talked about earlier, when you want some time off, or if you're due to be off on a weekend but you can work on a Saturday, you can actually say, I'm now available on a Saturday. So this concludes the mobile app demo, and I am now going to hand back to Marie for the questions.
Thank you so much, Neil. I always love seeing how people can actually use the app to do a lot more than just get a piece of job information, right? Like there's a lot of information that people can get about the job, about the customer, not just, oh, please be somewhere at this time. So want to now open it up to everyone's questions. And you can, if you haven't already, you can enter a question in the chat box in the webinar portal. And so we've had a couple come in. So first, this person's saying, we have full-time and contract technicians. We don't want the contractors to have the same information that the full-time employees do. Can you control what information is shown on the app?
Absolutely. Through the user profiles and administrator controls, you can control what information mobile users see on the app. And we have customers who have full-time, part-time, contractors, and even volunteers. Those different users have different needs, and we work with our customers to make sure that each type of employee or user has the information they need to serve your customers.
Okay, great. So absolutely, we can control what information is shown on the app to different people who are in your workforce if you need to make adjustments to that. Let's see, this person is asking, so we have most of our workforce in one region, New York area, more than 75% of the time, but we are also growing in a new market, and we sometimes send those people to another area. So how does that work, and can you override location proximity?
Absolutely. We have many customers who deliberately send employees to different regions or locations. So proximity is not always the reason you assign somebody to a job. In Skedulo, mobile workers are associated to regions. We have primary, secondary, and temporary regions. So you can always make people available to work in more than one region.
Okay, great. So yes, we can absolutely accommodate a business that is majority in one place, or in any scenario wants to move people from one place to another, even on a temporary basis.
Yeah.
Very cool. So another question's come in. Do you have anything that goes in front of customers, like an Uber or Lyft app? And do you have a web portal for customers?
So multiple questions in one question. So the given news is yes. Skedulo allows you to send SMS text messages to your customer to confirm the appointment and provide a reminder. This is a great customer experience and make sure that they're aware that somebody's actually coming to visit them. One of our customers, actually Solace Pediatric Healthcare, they've used this feature to great effect, and they've reduced their customer no-shows by 84%, which is super. We also have customers who have integrated their customer-facing websites or online scheduling portals to Skedulo. That is a service engagement with our customers, not something we offer out of the box. However, we have a variety of web configurations and back-end systems that require integration. Finally, we can also help you create an online portal or community for your customers if you don't already have one. So that's a super way for them to log in and actually see all their schedule information.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, we absolutely can interface with your customers. Today, we do that primarily through SMS or text messages, so they know about their appointment and know when someone's coming. And we can also support our customers to develop a web portal or integrate into their existing ones. Thank you. So I think we've got time for just about one more question. Um, can you just I like this question. Can you just auto schedule everyone? Ideally, we want everything automatically scheduled, then just make adjustments.
This is an interesting question. This is something that we really love to do internally. So with Skedulo, we can run a batch optimization. And
Which
really,
is what you show.
yeah, and what this means is that you can auto schedule large groups of jobs. Like we showed 5 or 6, but you can have much more. And they'll automatically be assigned to the right worker based on their like availability and skills and location. Like the example I showed you with speaking Italian. Our customers most often want to retain a certain measure of control for the jobs over optimization. So right now, that control means that you can automatically schedule groups of jobs to batch. So rather than go in and do everything, you can actually control which jobs you schedule, like whether it's job type or certain days. So it gives the scheduler more sort of control. And the vision of a platform is to allow job or appointment requests as they come in to be automatically scheduled. So this is a really big step. So it's what we look to do. And then through our exceptions console, you can manage conflicts and changes manually. We also have customers who absolutely do not want to auto schedule scenarios. So as we enact this vision, we will continue to ensure that we remain flexible enough to allow businesses to manage their scheduling the way they need to be successful. So really high level, the answer is we can do multiple ways depending on what the customer wants to do.
Great. We are coming up on time, so my apologies to everyone who entered a question and hasn't yet gotten an answer. We will follow up with you via email to make sure that your questions get answered. And if you liked what you saw today, we invite you to schedule a custom demo for us so you can see more of our product. Thank you so much for joining us, and please visit us and learn more at Skedulo.com. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.